We're good. All right. So here we are. We're actually in the same location for the first time in what? Well, first time in years. Yeah. So so it's been like 5 years. Again, if you listen to episode 1, which of course you did, again, Scott, Stephen, we are on episode 14, possibly. Yeah. So again, I made my way out west. No cowboy hat, no boots. Forgot to pack them. Next time I will, right?
And yeah, I'm sunburnt because I was outside and I was wearing my hard hat, so I look goofy. Yeah.
And I'm not. I was out in the desert, Indian Wells, and it's funny when I walked in. So I made it a point to come over and visit Stephen before I fly back on the red eye. Yeah, that's my own fault. I booked these flights, and I'm thinking it's a good idea to take the last flight out of Orange County, which they usually shut down everything around 10.
Yeah.
Right. So hopefully it's not delayed. And then I fly back with the layover in Atlanta, then end up in Nashville at 8:11 tomorrow morning. So when you're watching this is June 6th, which is also International Slayer Day. So there we go. So there we go. See, every time I can't talk, right? I get so caught up. But we're gonna talk about Slayer. We're gonna talk about just what's going on. Again, this is a cool setup. So as I walked in the door, I was greeted by Stephen. It was a nice greeting. It's been a while. We're definitely cordial, but again, seeing each other, face to face after all these years, it's like, well, wait a second, it didn't seem not that it would be awkward. I want to make sure I say this clearer than that goofy, but it's we've been doing this virtually in different locales for again for like a good 6 or 7 weeks now, right? But it's been a number of years. So when he goes, hey, so where were you at? I was out in Indian Wells, and he goes, yeah, that sounds very deserty.
Hot.
And deserty and hot. I think it was 108 today.
Oh my goodness.
Again, I'm not digging ditches. I'm not outside.
Not like me.
But still, it's anywhere 108, 105, no thanks. And they do say it's a dry heat. Heat is heat, and I don't think the dry factor matters. No. Maybe if folks are in, there is humidity, and yes, this is the Weather Channel. In case you're wondering, if you just tuned in now, but yeah, heat is heat. So
heat is definitely heat. And while we're at it, yes, we are having ice water with lime in it.
We are, yeah. Hydration is key. Definitely. We're here. I won't divulge your location to protect
thank you.
Your privacy, but in Southern California, it's probably, high 70s, relative humidity about 28.62.
Not as bad as in the Midwest.
Boy, that's barometric pressure. So
yeah.
I just broke my whole thing that I know what weather is. Anyway, we're here, and again, Stephen, you're repping the Talking Shh merchandise. So this is the T-shirt, which you can order now, along with sweatshirts, and there's coffee mugs, and there's beer steins as well, and there's stickers. And if you order something, then I want you guys to message us, and we'll send you a little packet of thanks, some stickers. Maybe we'll send you some other studio-related merchandise. Again, make it hard for us to figure out what to put in that little packet, but order a shirt, order a sweatshirt. Right now, we're running a special, right? No Groupon, but if you go out to 99WNRR.com, click on merchandise, you'll go ahead and be able to order the shirts. You ordered it, and it took less than a week?
Less than a week.
Yeah. So again, we only want to deal with good quality merchandise. I have a sweatshirt, didn't need to bring it on this trip, but it's just it's kind of the thicker material, right? It's not just the cheap, I'm not going to say any of the brands since we're not sponsored, nor do we want to get cited, but it's not one of those cheap, really thin T-shirts. It's not garbage. I think it's good quality.
Yeah.
And even the tees are super soft and nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, again, we want it to, if you're going to spend money on us, of all things to spend money on, we want to make sure that you have a good experience. Also related to, and you don't even know this yet, so I'm going to break some news right now.
drum solo.
So on 99 WNRR, which is a web-based station, but it's heard throughout the, you can hear it all over the world. We're gonna start putting our episodes out there.
Cool.
So I'm gonna figure out the right day.
Cool.
But again, we have 13, we're on to 14, soon to be 15. So we'll have the episodes also out there. They'll probably run a couple times a week. So that way, if you want to have, if you're driving around or just listening, you bring up your computer, bring up your phone and just go ahead and plug in 99WNRR.com. You go to radio, and then when you listen to it, and we'll add a little link on the page as well out to our social sites. Right now, again, if you're watching this, you can see it on YouTube, you can hear it on Spotify, it's on Amazon Music, it's going to be on a few other sites wherever you can stream music, but we're also going to go ahead and have it out on the station as well. So
And then also plug your show, Tuesdays.
yeah, so Tuesdays, didn't do it this week because I was on the road. I had to come out here again, do the No Consideration radio show. So that's on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 on the West, 6 on in the Central time zone. And again, Stephen's been kind enough to talk about that in past episodes, but it's all metal. Some of it's more aggressive. There's a few bands. I talked to my son last night, and he goes, "Have you heard of Throne? THROWN, spelling counts, right?
It
Throne."
does.
I'm all, no, and I was thinking about that. I go, maybe I have, maybe I played them, but I don't think so. Someone add Throne in there, so be able to check them out as well. And then Knocked Loose, who is right
Oh,
now
yeah.
probably one of the bigger bands
Yeah.
in the metal kingdom.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize this until we were talking last night as well. And a little teaser, Zach, he had asked to be on a show coming up, and he lives in a crazy time zone. So Stephen and I, we're going to figure out when this can work to record something on a weekend. And it's cool. It's just, I said something like,
Oh, I was like,
okay, and
Just
now-
somebody's already given us a thumbs
yeah,
up.
it's like, we're not even live, but
Wow.
I guess Zoom, which we record on, not a sponsor, but they can be if they want to sponsor the
That'd be
show.
nice.
We go ahead and we're gonna find a time to talk about drummers and just, hardcore music. Zach's, definitely influenced by the heavy music. So it'll be
For
good to
sure.
be able to get him to weigh in on that. So
For
Zach,
sure.
yes, you're gonna be on a show pretty soon, and we'll want to go ahead and record that.
For sure.
But what I noticed, and we were talking about, and by the way, this is just kind of a potpourri episode, right? We're just going to be talking about anything. I didn't realize at the time, but with the Slipknot tour, and this was one of the conversations Zach and I was having last night. So Eloy Casagrande.
That's how he pronounced it.
It's true, yeah. We want to be
Casagrande.
respectful. Casagrande, excellent drummer, superior drummer. And I do not know all the other bands aside from Sepultura that he played with. So that might be something that you can enlighten me
Yeah.
on, Stephen. But Zach is a fan of him for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And we were talking about Slipknot last night. He goes, "I can't wait." And he said this. He goes, "I can't wait for them to record something new with them." I go, "It's got to be a matter of time." One, because again, and we talked about Jay a little bit, and he gave some feedback, and I'll add to that a little bit. But Jay Weinberg, who's now in Suicidal Tendencies, who's actually playing in California, which by the time you watch this and listen to it, the show would have already happened. And I forget it's a festival out in Pomona this weekend. Again, the thumbs up is happening just for some unknown reason.
Hopefully it shows up
it's
when you
AI,
see this.
yeah.
It's pretty cool.
But there's the Misfits and Power Trip
Yeah.
and Suicidal.
Falling in Reverse, I think is playing. I don't.
Maybe no values. That's it. No values tour. And how I actually realized it was going on this weekend. Ricky Rackman, who I'm a big supporter of. I've seen his live show. He's doing one more. Ricky, again, we want you to tune in if you can, but he's doing one more live show, One Foot in the Gutter, July 22nd. And I'm just giving you free promo. Not that you need it because the show's already sold out. But July 22nd in Vegas, he's doing one more live show. And in that, I've been, we are jumping around. We'll get back to it. This water definitely is influencing it. But real quick, I know I'm hyper this afternoon.
No,
so-
but I'm just to say Ricky Rackman, it goes way back. if you, I'm sure those of you that are as old as we are, goes way back to the eighties, into the MTV days.
Yeah, and Headbangers Ball.
And Headbangers Ball.
His so Cat House Hollywood is his web store name, cathousehollywood.com. And again, if you ask my wife, she goes, "You're keeping him in business." So I've bought, I almost said bought, I bought,
Boughten?
I bought.
Well, you're from the South now.
Yeah, so I bought in some stuff in. So I purchased, there we go, a few sweatshirts. And again, the quality matters. These sweatshirts, it's a Headbangers Ball sweatshirts. I gotta get you one. What's your size? And I'll get it out to you.
Large.
Yeah, right. Quality material. It's the best sweatshirt I've ever worn. And again, we went from talking weather now to talking fashion. We're probably gonna go into talking maybe some delicious dinners later. Who knows? Stay tuned. But in that, again, what was kind of an inspiration to me and what led probably in some part led us to doing the show was just, talking about what we love, right? Talking about what is of interest. And we can sit down. And again, this is the first time we've been, shoulder to shoulder in a number of years now. But I promise I'll shut up in a second, but keep going. But his cathousehollywood.com, the sweatshirts, he's got the Headbangers Ball hats, the t-shirts. So the quality of it, and somewhere this all relates back to what we're trying to do, and I completely lost it. But as far as just Ricky Rackman and this non sequitur that I ended up down this alley on, when I bring it back in, the quality of merchandise, the quality of the show, just looking back at what he's doing. Yeah, the no values, how I caught myself.
There you go.
He was talking about, he was in his latest podcast, he talked about this entire show. And I don't know what this show is about, but there's some punk bands. Again, you got Suicidal, you can call them punk, you can call them, whatever you want, skate metal, skate punk. Yeah, but all these bands are playing. So again, that's out in Pomona. By the time, again, this gets released, it already would have happened. But, maybe some of you guys have gone out to it. So it's kind of cool. Again, it's keeping things fresh. It's keeping things kind of relevant with, the type of music that's out there right now.
And keeping things alive.
Yeah. This was cool. This was something, so an artist we haven't talked about. We've probably talked about this band. If not, this will be the first time. Trivium.
Oh,
So
goodness.
Matthew K. Hafey, guitarist and singer. I've seen them probably half a dozen times. I was never admittedly a big fan of Trivium. Musically, they're great. They're professionals. Singing wise, he kind of reminds me a little bit of kind of James Hetfield, somewhat. Yeah. But for whatever reason, just the combination, I wasn't a fan of. But he does a show on satellite radio, and I enjoy it. I love it. And he's a huge gamer. So like if I follow him on Twitter. So it makes no sense. I'll admit that I really don't like the band, but the individual I like. I follow him on socials. I listen to his radio show. It's Chaos Hour. It's 1 hour, but he pulls in. But my appreciation of it is he just sounds like a cool guy.
Their drummer's amazing too.
Yeah.
They were actually on tour with Mastodon and Gojira. So we caught just the tail end of them. Oh, maybe it wasn't that. I know they opened for Summit. I can't remember. I'm sorry. I must be another band that we saw. I think that they opened for Iron Maiden. I think we saw them at the Honda.
They did. Yeah. I remember that.
And I was impressed with the band. The drummer, I go right to drummers. I go to bass players. I go to guitar players. I go to vocals, but I'm always laser focused on drums, and I'm just on the Trivium part. I really I thought they're really good.
Yeah,
I was impressed.
Again, I can't give you a reason other than there's just something that doesn't resonate. But I've seen them. Yeah. I've seen them multiple times. But I guess I like the individual parts together, not so much. But again, it's
different.
Chaos Hour, he plays a lot of bands that you just never have heard of. He played Orbit Culture recently, who I've been a fan of for the last year or two. Great band, and we're going to do an episode and a few of the most recent we put a song in at the end. And the only problem with that, I found out, when you release it on Spotify with music, you get cut off from any other sites.
It's like
It's
copyright.
like a
type
licensing thing. So yeah, like Spotify allows it. So, on the episode came out 2 weeks ago, there was a Rush song and then King Crimson. I was waiting for you to comment on that. I added that at the very end. So again, when we do music, we know that limits the outreach, but that's okay. But we're gonna do some other episodes on Spotify that are gonna be just strictly music. And I'll just take some of our parts and edit it in. So based on each, because we always talk about music, clearly, we always talk about bands, we're gonna make kind of playlist.
Yeah.
And it probably won't be for every show, but we'll just kind of string it together. So we'll have a talking playlist on Spotify. So
Perfect.
then that way you guys
Yeah.
can follow along.
Yeah.
And again, it'll be existing bands, could be Maiden, could be Rush, Slayer. which-
Anthrax.
yeah. By the way, it's National Slayer Day, June 6th. It's also Tom Araya's birthday. He's 63 today. And let me just kind of transition. I think I hit up all these topics and I want you to weigh in on this stuff. So we've talked about Slayer on a couple episodes. And certainly the powerfulness of their live shows, seeing them in clubs, seeing them in arenas, seeing them at Hollywood Palladium, which holds about a couple thousand, and the infamous night when the fire extinguisher went off. And I'll say it again, this is soundbite sprayed in my face. So if you want to do a soundbite sprayed in my face there, go ahead and do that. But thinking back at it, and I'm going to pull this up, we're going to do a little, Googling on the phone really quick. Slayer, they have some shows coming out this summer,
I think too.
announced at festivals.
But I saw an article that Tom and Carrie were saying there's not going to be anything else, which I don't know if that's hype to get them, people to watch or see what's going on. But 2 shows you have to travel to, and I think they're at festivals. I don't know exactly where. I thought maybe one's Illinois, and anyhow, to want to see Slipknot do, even if it's 10 dates, just hit
Yeah.
some of the major spots from the West Coast or the East Coast or vice versa, would be amazing. I mean, they generate not only their hardcore fans, which we grew up as hardcore fans, and give it a chance. It'd also be really cool and wishful thinking. We always say, should a guy be in a band or should a guy not be in a band? But Dave Lombardo come back and would be just to be the icing on the cake. But
Yeah.
I'll let you take back over on the
No
the
worries.
dates portion.
Yeah, so I do need to look up those dates. Again, it's two festivals. They pretty much festival season probably started in May, right? And then May, June, July, August, probably September. Is it Aftershock? And then is it also the festival in Louisville, which I threw the idea out.
Yeah, louder than life.
Louder Than Life. Thank you.
And Riot Fest in Chicago.
Okay, they're in Riot. Okay, so yeah, they're doing Riot Fest. You're right, Illinois. I
It
didn't
was-
doubt it. I didn't doubt it, but I was thinking
That's only stuck in my head.
of another festival that's up in Sacramento. But yeah, Louder Than Life. Would they do more than 2? It doesn't seem like it. I'm hearing, the Kerry King record doesn't come out for another maybe week or 2. But I've heard 3 or 4 tracks now, and again, I guess this isn't a weighing in, but by name, it is talking shh. So I'll talk a little S on this. It's fine. It's okay.
It's Slayer.
It is Slayer-esque, and it's like, okay, are you Slayer Junior? Because
Yeah,
Mark
I thought the same thing.
Mark Asagawa, I'll say his name right. Mark O, how's that? From Death Angel.
Yeah,
Been a fan since they started. I think that's a great band. I think he's a great singer. But the new song, which is the title track, so that'll be easy to reference. I'll just for now play it safe by saying the title track, which yes, I don't remember the title of the record. However, in that, it's like, that's really, and I'm not going to say Tom Araya Jr., but it definitely is
It-
kind of Slayerish for sure.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's not a
that's my
shocker,
impression.
it's not a shocker, because you know, he's a instrumental writer for sure, obviously, in what Slayer's done, but why not just do Slayer?
That's
You know,
exactly what I thought.
If you're gonna do
Why not?
that, it's like, is this band gonna be bigger than Slayer? No,
No.
no. Is it good musicians? Absolutely. Does it sound good quality wise? Absolutely. But I can't say I've heard any recycled or rehashed riffs yet, but again, Kerry King is so instrumental in that sound, and you knew the parts between Jeff Hanneman and Kerry King on Slayer songs because Jeff was more kind of high pitched
Mhm.
and more frantic playing, and then there was more of this thrust in your face that came out from Kerry King. And then Tom Araya, I think in that was, you know, there wasn't the rasp, there wasn't the thrashy, there wasn't the gut. Well, there's some gutter screams for sure, but it wasn't Cookie Monster. It was
No.
never that way. So it definitely,
No.
you know, and then Dave Lombardo still is the OG. And that's what it's about. But in that, in honor of National or International Slayer Day, also Tom Araya's birthday, June 6th, he's 63, I believe, 63. So let's just run through the albums. You guys know what these are, but I think it's worth mentioning. And then I'm going to highlight my favorite record. I want you to, Stephen, maybe
Yeah.
you said it.
Mhm.
83, Show No Mercy.
Mhm.
Hell Awaits, 85.
Hell
Rain and
Awaits.
Blood, 86.
Both of us.
88, South of Heaven, Seasons in the Abyss, 90. Right there. 2 years, 1 year, 2 years, 2 years. Like back in the 80s, probably the 70s too, bands were touring, recording, and keeping
They
it
were
a
lining
cycle.
them up.
They weren't going years out, waiting for
Like every
you
4 years.
do it.
Yeah.
Okay, I say that, and then Divine Intervention, 4 years. But then back to 2 years with Undisputed Attitude, Diabolos in Musica, 98, God Hates Us All, 2001, Christ Illusion, 2006, there's 5 years. Then 4 years, War Painted Blood. Then 6 years to Repentless, which is my least favorite Slayer
Yeah.
record, Repentless. Just, again, if you look at, and this will be another topic that we'll entertain, so again, we're just kind of queuing it up, best 3-album run. And doesn't have to be the first, second, or third release, anywhere in there, best 3-album run. I'm saying right now, and there could be some debate on this, and that's fine, but one band that would qualify, and there could be 3 sets of 3-album runs. I'll start with Hell Awaits, Rain and Blood, South of Heaven,
Man, those are mine 3.
or Rain and Blood, South of Heaven, Seasons in the Abyss. I
Four.
might go with Hell Awaits, Rain and Blood, South of Heaven between 85 and 88.
Those are my 3 favorite.
The 3 best Slayer records
Absolutely.
with the best songs, with the greatest impact. We saw the live shows, we experienced it, we heard the music. And when we get into Rain and Blood, that right there, I've said it before, Metallica, Master of Puppets is my favorite metal record. Rain and Blood's number 2.
Mm.
Maybe it's like 1B, it's right there. But just it's got an alert on my flight. It's still on time.
That's a good
Yeah.
thing.
I'm flying after this, so that's why I came here just for
I'm
Steve.
trying to get him to fly before he flies.
Yeah.
That's what the ice water he's drinking.
October 7th, 1986. That's when it was released. 28 minutes and 58 seconds. Can you talk about a crazy or 29-minute, less than 29-minute, just in your face, just thrust fest? And again, we've talked about it, Rick Rubin.
Yeah.
He just brings out the
Huge-
best.
Yeah, huge influence. Even though Dark Angel, all those bands back and still doing stuff today, which was and I don't know why I'm gonna pivot off that to go to Johnny Cash before he passed, but I mean, talk about diversity.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Slayer and Scott and I were talking about doing, you know, we pivot off of different shows and doing different things and maybe doing a show on just one band and albums.
Mhm.
Slayer, first of all, and the reason why we actually started recording tonight, we talked about doing it. We didn't know if we were going to do it, but we were watching Metallica playing live on their tour right now.
Yeah.
I just thought, hey, music, yeah, that's what we do. That's what we like to talk about. That's what we love a part of being. And again, I'm going to also go back to Scott's show is that the music that is played before the three thrash songs. See, I'm starting to do that too now. Thrash.
Yeah,
Three
yeah.
times fast. It's so diverse, to hear music that doesn't get played on radio. And the underground knows about it, the cult following of that type of music. It's amazing. And interesting too is how certain bands and, how they'll be doing the hardcore metal, and then all of a sudden in the middle, they're doing jazz music.
Yeah,
And then it goes right back to metal again, which I think is so cool and clever. You know, it shows the maturity level of the musician and how they can throw something in like we would try to do back in the 80s to go, oh yeah, bands don't put bridges in songs anymore. You know, a bridge was every time my other half and I listen to music and we're hearing songs we've heard before, I'm like, bridge. And
Yeah.
nowadays a lot of songs they don't do that. And so a lot of the songs that Scott plays has this really unique such a wild take on music where you just go, I did not expect that. And I think that's so bold and cool.
it is, yeah. And the band, I believe the band you're talking about is Periphery.
Mhm.
And then we already talked about this, so I won't rehash all of it, but certainly, you know, being a fan of them for many years, and then I saw them a couple weeks ago on the same week, actually one night, separated. I saw Periphery, and then I saw Stevie Nicks the next night. So,
Well, that's
you
right.
know, just being able to kind of experience on that. It's more a matter of understanding that, you know, one, you can have a wide range of musical interest. And I remember back, you know, when we were younger, and part of it was definitely peer pressure, maybe some, maybe not always in I don't know if you can say bullying, not in a bad way, but it was more a matter of you want to kind of keep pace with the Joneses, as far as, you know, you couldn't like different types of music. Well, ideally, everyone that's listening to this show, watching this show, you have a wide array.
You're thinking of Tom Araya.
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm just a wide
Or
wide
Rain and
array,
Blood.
a wide array, but a wide range of music where you're just interested in. You're not saying it's just metal, it's not thrash, it's not punk, country, whatever. You can listen to all of that, and hopefully that's what we've talked about. U2, we've talked about. We're really going all over the place here,
Yeah.
but we've talked about Rush and U2, and I've just mentioned Stevie Nicks. But that's what it's about. Again, you know, we want you guys to share feedback with us. You know, we'll talk about any style. I don't know at this point if we're going to do a country episode. I wouldn't be opposed to it. You know, I think it's more a matter of, you know, let's look back and see how the different, and maybe we do just more of a, I don't want to say a challenge, but just to kind of break it down. Certainly, you know, we don't all do it for the clicks and the views, but any comments related to Cheap Trick, Robin Zander definitely did really well. So it's
Another
more
one of my
when we
favorite
talked about
bands.
Rush, you know, things did really well. So again, we want to keep it open, but I think part of it is just, yeah, that's the uniqueness, and that's the fun about doing all this, is like, there's just not one style. There's just not one interest. I remember back when I was like in 8th grade, and I don't know, maybe I shied away from it or not, but I had a couple different sets of friends. And so there was a group of friends. I remember like when we were in 8th grade, and then we lived close enough where we can go to the beach almost every day. Sometimes we just ride our bikes, or we take the bus. But there'd be, and not saying it, but the metal kids didn't go to the beach, and so I wanted to go to the beach. So I was hanging out just with my, you know, whatever, my other group of friends, but they were listening to Duran Duran, or they were listening to Depeche Mode, or they were listening. There was another group that were listening to punk. So I was a you know, an equal opportunity listener, I guess. And I didn't really get caught up in it. I certainly sided more with metal, and I remember at this point when I went into high school, when I finally transitioned. Let me finish this comment. When I finally transferred,
Good month
Yeah,
to talk about
yeah,
that. Then.
when I finally transferred schools,
We can edit that out.
yeah, there was, okay. Here's the thing. Yeah. I talked about this a couple episodes before. I'll make this really brief, which is the
No,
topic
no.
of tonight. Make it really brief. So I transferred, let's say that again, schools. I went from a Catholic high school where we had a uniform. Basically, you had to keep your hair a certain length, and they would measure it too. If it touched your
I
collar, they were like giving you, detention Saturday school.
Slapping your wrist with.
So it was definitely a reaction, and I did it. I started my junior year, I was wearing metal shirts every day to school. That really didn't help my social life,
I bet.
and I remember wearing a Celtic Frost and
Yeah.
zero, first period, not zero, I didn't do zero period. First period, I was in the office. That's always a perfect class to take in high school to teach you skills in the future, is to walk around and hand out messages to the teacher. But what a colossal bullshit waste of time
Yeah.
that was.
Yeah.
So I did it and I got a grade. I got an A because I'm really good at handing out notes. But I remember wearing these shirts, and it's when you're in high school, you're kind of, you're trying to go for the girls and trying to make some friends. And by the way, I was playing sports too. So I was not necessarily this pariah, but there was some of like, well, what the fuck is up with Scott? It's like his hair is growing out. And these are some
Can't make
kids,
up your mind.
yeah, that I knew for a number of years. So I went from clean cut, basically Catholic high school, and then, who knows how much your hair grows over the summer, right? A couple inches, but I knew it was hanging out of my helmet at that point.
Yeah.
And so wearing metal shirts, I had a different metal shirt every day. Let me just make this point clear, and it doesn't matter now, clearly.
Okay,
Now,
we're
I
in high
was-
school. I'm gonna go after
Yeah.
you because this is kind of a fun time.
I had 0 dates my junior year.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, no,
But you got a thumbs up on that. You got a
Yeah.
0 dates, and both of us got a thumbs up on that one. Uh, Being into metal and enjoying that music, I wasn't playing drums at the time because my parents had gotten. I'm not trying to bring the show down.
No.
Just bringing in a little bit of back history. My parents had got divorced. I had to go move from South Torrance to West Torrance, so I transferred high schools. But I had guitar and bass. So other than not playing drums, I thought, well, I still want to be a musician, so that would be my outlet to be able to play guitar and bass and listen to songs and figure them out by ear. That's how I learned how to play. Did take drum lessons for a little bit, but I didn't like it. So everything that I play today is all done from listening the Dave Grohl way. But in high school, I believe that as I was getting through high school, I started off with like an Izod shirt in freshman year, and then started getting into Vans. And I think the first checkered Vans slip-ons came out. My ear was pierced, and people would look at me as like I was some monster. I was like, you're just wanting to fit in how you want to fit. Yeah, exactly. It was like kids would bully me and threaten to kick my ass, and high school's high school. I don't care about that, but learning and growing into what I've grown into today is I won't change it for the world.
No.
Music has been the core of my life since I can remember as a kid, and being awkward and being trying to figure out who we are. Scott's talking about, are you going to a school that's making you wear a uniform, but you're wanting to be a bit of rebellion. And the rebellion is part of what we all are. And I know a lot of people that listen to this music can identify with that. And to this day, I'm still a rebel. I don't know that I'm as extreme as I was, but it's a part of who we are and how we get our point across, and why we enjoy talking about music and knowing about this music and the bands that we like, and how we interact with others to this day. Music is our life and our blood, and we have such an amazing chemistry doing this together. And this is a bouncy show, by the way. We didn't plan any topic on this.
No.
It
But
was
clearly, in case you're wondering that, and I was just gonna say, because I'm never a smart ass, right? But it's like, okay, well, it
He's
sounds
smart.
like you sounds like you're a rock and roll rebel. And right there,
Very much so.
I'll just drop in some Aussie right
Do it.
there.
There you go.
Bark of the Moon record,
Ah.
rock and roll, is that it?
Jakey Lee.
Yeah. So sorry, I was getting, again, because this wasn't even planned, I was getting text,
Jakey Lee.
while you were, and I was paying attention to it entirely.
You don't
But,
need to.
I'm
I
just
was
trying to
randomly-
follow along, I guess there was a huge dog fight outside in our neighborhood and
Uh-oh.
people were screaming at each other. And then,
Still going.
I'll just say it because I don't know who this person is. It was that stupid bitch that always walks her dogs not on a leash. I go, I'm not gonna say the dog. I go, oh, was it this? And now I know the lady with the, all right, I won't say what it is. I don't know who that person is. I'm not gonna, again, I'm sure that person.
So were they
listening
referring
this.
to the dog as the bitch or the lady as the?
Well, actually, you know what? I'm glad you bring that up because both could probably
Be.
apply because it's like, okay, so we've gone through weather.
Yeah.
Then we've certainly talked about music. We talked about Slayer, International Slayer Day.
Yeah.
We got into fashion for a little bit.
Yeah.
And so now we're talking about like, I guess, dog protocols, dog walking.
Clean up your dog shit.
Well, yeah, clean that up. And, in our not like many neighborhoods, you got this strip of lawn. Again, just stick with this. You have a strip of lawn separated by the sidewalk, then you have your main lawn.
Yeah.
In some instances, that strip by the street, there we go, is could be maintained by the association. We won't talk about homeowners associations. Or maybe by the city, or maybe it's your own, your own property, whatever. I tend to side with, I cut it, I maintain it. But
Yeah.
people, it's like if your dog's gonna walk, and I'll get to the not on leash part in a second. But if you're gonna piss, this is an awesome
This is,
show.
no, this is.
If you're gonna
'cause I can
piss,
bitch about this
yeah,
for a while.
if you're walking your dog, and maybe this is the owner, so either way, if it's your dog or if it's you, lady, if you're gonna piss on my lawn, piss on that little strip.
Mhm.
Don't go on the proper lawn because it's been proven that, and we'll stay away from there because we'll lose
It'll.
viewers at this point, but it's going to kill your lawn,
Mhm.
right?
Turn
So at
around.
least have it like on that little strip. Now, if there's other animals in the neighborhood, and around the corner we have horses and cows, so nobody's out there, and I don't expect anyone to walk a cow on the leash. I'm fine with that. But in the neighborhood, if you're walking your dog, use a fucking leash,
Use a leash.
because you clearly can't control your animal.
No.
And if it's, again, right there, as I was getting breaking news, huge dog fight outside, OMG, people were screaming at each other, laughing face. My comment, oh, wow. It was that stupid bitch that always
That's
walked
so
her dog,
funny.
not in a leash. And I go, I don't know who that person is. So now I'm going to be on, and again, I think it's a female dog. I think that's what the reference is.
I would hope
Um,
so.
No, the lady with the black dog, I think it's it's like, oh, I don't know who that is. So I'm gonna be on the lookout.
That's-
So when I get home, I'm gonna be.
We're gonna
on
have
the
a full
lookout for-
report next week.
Yeah, so next week we will update you on the dog fighting. No, this is not a dog fighting episode, but what occurred as part of probably a normal neighborhood occurrence,
Right.
of dogs on leashes. So to leash or not to leash? That's really the question.
That's gonna be the name of our next album,
Yeah,
our punk album.
yeah. So I think we talked about, right, all the, so now let's do a sharp pivot back to Slayer.
Yeah.
And the records. But again, I won't even name the song here. I think you guys know it. Again, Angel of Death to me,
Yeah.
when it kicks off and then ends in Raining Blood. I don't know if this is a good fun fact or not. It's more a question of, that whole record comes in at like 29 minutes, right? Just this,
In your face.
yeah. Another sound clip.
Yeah.
In your face. The two longest songs are the Coincidence, Random, Means Nothing, Angel of Death, 4 minutes and 51 seconds.
Yeah.
If you're doing the math at home, yes, 9 seconds short of 5 minutes.
It's crazy.
Raining Blood,
And if you think about how fast they're
4:14.
playing through those songs
Yeah.
for that amount of time.
So
is
basically,
endurance.
of the 28, just under 29 minutes, 9 minutes is Angel of Death and Raining Blood.
Yeah.
So the rest of them just zip through.
Yeah.
Which, again, I heard Jesus Saves earlier on satellite when I was driving in. Again, Jesus Saves, written by Kerry King. Again, we like Kerry King.
Yeah.
Lyrics by Kerry King, music by Jeff Hanneman and Kerry King. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold yet on the Kerry King band. Again, the musicianship and all that, but I think it comes down to, and for whatever reason, maybe there's something deeply rooted, and after being a band for, I don't know if they made it 40 years, right? But
Close.
35, let's say 35 to 40, we got a thumbs up.
Well, second one. Well,
Yeah.
what's a phenomenal idea though, is that we doing the clip, the music clip, and talking about the song and doing the clip and saying, well, you could do almost kind of a comparison of Slayer versus the Kerry King band. And where are the nuances? Is it the same? Is it?
You know what? So we're
rip-off?
gonna do that. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna do
that's
that.
a great idea.
Yeah, we're gonna
That's
do
such
that
a
in a
great
future
idea.
show.
Such
No,
a great idea.
I think that's great. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, for sure.
so I don't know. I think I'm kind of talked out.
Stall time.
Yeah.
All right, so this was a very casual
Yeah.
impromptu. The fact that Scott and I haven't seen each other since 2019, I believe. It was right before COVID.
Yeah. Yeah.
We did our last show before he moved to for business to Tennessee. We get and not to throw the worry and put a downer on it, but every time these summers come up and these storms fly through the south, we get quite worried about you and your wife there and there. So
There's weather for
yeah,
sure.
there's
Yeah,
weather.
Let me
We
tell you,
don't get
it's
weather
no
here.
joke.
thunderstorms, raindrops the size of
Yeah.
golf balls and hail and all that stuff. So anyhow,
Yeah.
we just wanted to kind of come on and be silly. We had a Jesus juice water
Yeah.
to lighten it up, to kind of just talk a bunch of shh as always, and roundabout coming to a close here. We will regroup next week with another fiery episode that will light your souls on fire.
Yeah. I think that, could be, soles
the
of your
clip-
shoes.
Yeah.
Again, if you're somewhere hot.
Yeah.
Again,
You
next,
were somewhere.
yeah, true. And next week,
Weather.
maybe we talk about shoes.
Let's talk about shoes.
No. Just, so again, as always, guys, we appreciate your time. Again, it's definitely, it's a treat to be in the same room.
Yeah.
All right.
for
So,
sure.
this won't happen that often. But
No,
when
it won't
does,
happen.
yeah.
We're gonna make it happen. Next time you see this, I will be in Nashville.
Yeah,
So how about that?
we're going to do that. So,
Cool.
again, until next time, guys, appreciate it and see ya.
That was fun.
Yeah. It's at the top. Hit the little square. Go to your right. I'm leaving all this in. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
This way.
Go.
This way.
Yeah.